Welcome back, everybody, or should I say, welcome back, me from Japan, because I am back. I had a lovely time. Thank you for asking. I actually took a couple extra days just to recuperate from the jet lag, the amount of fun that I had, and get back in the groove of work. So I get to make these lovely videos once more. So what's going to happen today is I'm just going to talk about the big things that have come out or will be coming out. As you can see on the screen, Azur Lane, I'm going to be talking about English Weiss Schwarz, Japanese Weiss Schwarz. I'm going to talk about Bushiroad Survey. And then as the next videos go on, I'll go more in depth on these topics as it is warranted. But I just wanted to get back and do a quick little video here. So Azur Lane, big release coming up. I don't use the word big for what I see on the screen, but it is going to be a big release because if you have forgotten what this release is all about, you're going to be seeing a booster box. You're going to be seeing 4 trial decks. It did come out already for Japan and people went nuts for it. People possibly didn't think it was coming out for English, but alas, here we are. It's going to be stellar, as you could tell by what is on my screen. So also what came out in between that time period that I was away in Japan, you had a booster pack, Tomb of the Undead Volume 2. That was very interesting. If you haven't seen the prices on this, there definitely was an oversupply. I wouldn't even say oversupply because that's not right. We are print to demand. There was a lot of purchasing that happened on it. I'll go talk about that more in the future. It's one of those ones that I see people are now like selling booster boxes and cases at a discount. And I will say, not dead booster boxes and cases, right? There's some stores that picked up a little too many and now they're trying to sell it for a little bit less. Moving on though, Bushiroad Survey. This is very important because I want to talk about this one. I want to talk about this one because I saw some people that were a little cynical about this survey. So if you didn't see my video talking about the survey like a couple weeks ago, this is the Bushiroad TCG Global User Survey. It's going to cover Cardfight Vanguard, Weiss Schwarz, Weiss Schwarz Blau, Rebirth For You, Shadowverse Evolve. This came about because of an article Milk Tea put out there and then put it on Twitter. Kidani saw it. And because of that, he was like, you know what, I'm going to put an agenda on my Weiss Schwarz meeting. And what ended up happening was a lot more people started writing about, let's say, grievances or things they would love to see change about Weiss Schwarz. And because of that, it might be small on the screen, but in the bottom left, the translation said, you know what? We've got a lot of these actual tweets. So what we're going to do is a large scale survey. This large scale survey will be happening in September. So I'm going to just flash back over here for you. It's going to be happening in September. It's going to cover those 5 games that I said. And what's going to happen with the results of the survey will be announced at various Bushiroad conferences and on the official Bushiroad website starting from December 2023. And people didn't really trust this survey because they're like, you know what, we've done this years before, nothing's happened from it. I will say again that Kidani requested it. So if you think about this very, very clearly, if you give constructive feedback, somebody will be reading it. In the end, it will go to Kidani. So if you have, let's say, constructive feedback and a couple of you actually say it, because what's going to happen is anybody that's been in this data sort of collection survey world, they're going to need to put it in some fancy PowerPoint and show it to Kidani, or he's just going to read all 100 something of these surveys. But my guess is really someone's going to collate this. So if you have a couple friends and you manage to somehow say basically the same thing over and over and over again, then they're going to be like, you know what? We should probably look into this because there's some people that are not happy with how that's going. Or if you have some awesome suggestions like removing dead boxes by implementing maybe a random SP insertion into your cases, that would be great too. So maybe say something like that. Or how about this? How about some of that English conference being really late at night? Maybe bump up the hours, especially if it's pre-recorded, or maybe put it on the weekend. So if anybody has the same kind of thoughts like me on that one, maybe put that in your survey. By the way, if you do the survey, you have a chance to win one of 3 special Bushiroad playmats. That doesn't matter. I see that out there and I'm like, you actually have a chance because the big man requested it, right? You actually have a chance to make some sort of difference. So even if you wanted to request Nichijou come in the English Weiss Schwarz, you know what may not happen. Maybe someone will roll their eyes when they get it and have to put that into the what people responded with on the survey. You know what? Still do it. Go ahead, and maybe one day your dreams will come true. But in the end, the price of actually having someone hear your opinions is way more than some Bushiroad playmat. I don't know. It really mattered to me. I saw that. I'm like, okay, whatever. So this survey, when you click on it, it's not going to be all that much effort. It took me a couple minutes. I actually went back and did it a second time so I could put that whole conference thing in there because I totally forgot about it. But go ahead, make sure you do it. I don't see a deadline on here at all. Again, if you look over here, it said this is going to be happening in September 2023. So presumably you might have until the end of the month to do it, but do it sooner than later, please. Because I see so many times over the last 3 years, people have complained to me and like, Bushiroad never hears us out. And maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. I mean, I've tried emailing them before. It's an interesting ride. So this is your chance to actually have your voice heard. Okay. So moving on. Japanese Weiss Schwarz Dengeki. Banco came out. I was at the Weiss Schwarz Mart. I was at, was it Gurapan, which can be misconstrued. It has different translations as I saw when I was there in Japan. And by the way, there was a post on Facebook Global about trying to find Gurapan, and some guy said he ended up at, let's say, a H store. H store, yeah, adult anime. And I will tell you, we ended up there as well. It is super hard to find that place, but we did eventually find it. So it was a lot of fun. Again, thank you to my travel mates for putting up with that. It was 90 some degree weather. We were sweating our butts off. I had Nick there as well, who met us in Japan, and we were just it was a good time. So that was really nice. Also, the Countdown collection came out. By the way, going back to Dengeki real quick, does this need a reprint? No, it does not. Even with the horrible SP drop rate, there was so much people buying of these cases that there's no need for any sort of reprint. If they ever reprint this thing, I would be pretty amazed with how much was actually bought. Likewise, with the Bang Dream Party Countdown collection, I'll be surprised if they reprint it, but I will say, if you take a look at different places, there was a lot actually purchased. So I know people were excited for it. Players were definitely excited for it because if you look up that Arisa, geez, very expensive because of the playability of it, as it is a reprint of the toilet card. So that's very. Do I have it here? I used to have the toilet card right here, but I don't have it. That irritating girl. Anyways, moving on. Right now, Bushiroad Championship Series 2023. The more important thing that you need to know about if you're not a player are the actual. I was gonna say this whole Bushiroad thing, and I was gonna scroll down and show you pictures, and then I see Azur Lane. I'm like, here's Azur Lane once more. But Bushiroad Championship Series 2023 running currently. People have had interesting experience. If you have not seen that on Facebook Global, you might want to check that out. Anyways, prizes here. Each participant will be getting this participation card. You see the Quince card looks very beautiful. You got some girls in nightwear with a little bit of cleavage, so that's always interesting. People are already selling that card. Speaking of cards that are already being sold, let's see this one. This is the Benny Maru. You get this for, just showing you, champion PR card. So you get that Benny Maru. I saw someone selling it for $17.50 or best offer. So if you're looking for a Benny Maru, do check that out there on Facebook Global. But as more of these events get run, obviously that price may come down. And that makes sense because we've seen girls on these cards and they're worth a bunch of money, but it's Benimaru. And I know people love that. I watched the Slime movie on the plane from Japan, and it was a lot of fun. Benimaru had a great part in there. He did a lot of good things inside of that movie, but you know what? Just not it. So let me just show you the schedule. Where are we? We just had Rosemont, Illinois. So you had two already. If it's already $17.50 or best offer, you can imagine that the price should be potentially going down unless there's some huge slime lover that wants to get all the Benimarus out there. But I highly doubt that. So make sure you just keep looking out for some actual deals on these cards. And I will say, if you haven't been paying attention, that the economy is not doing so well, that some of these, let's say, card games, there's people selling a bunch of cards. So you might be able to find some deals on some cards that you've been looking for a while. And I'll be talking about that in the future on another video. So there is one last thing here. It's just the end of the video. Like I said, I know this is a little quicker than normal, which is nice, but I'll go in depth on Azur Lane. I'm gonna go more in depth on Dengenki. Maybe take a look at Bang Dream, but for the end here, by the way, if you haven't seen this, and most people wouldn't have seen it, this is my contact information. I did add something on here. I do actually have a mailing address now. I know people have asked previously for it, so here you go. If you want to send me a letter, if you want to send me anything in the mail, here you go. Big B. There's my address. I will say I actually don't live there. I figured out that you can actually, it was amazing. I was looking for a way to actually have an address on my P.O. box, UPS store, and then I found a YouTube video. It's amazing. There was like a virtual mailbox, and this is it. This is a virtual mailbox. You're allowed to pick a bunch of different cities throughout the United States. So this is the one I ended up with. Again, I don't live there. I will probably more than likely just have everything just forwarded to me. It's actually really cool. If you haven't heard of a virtual mailbox, it's really awesome. What they actually do, they could forward stuff to you, they could scan it, they could shred it. I was actually pretty amazed that I've never actually heard of this before. So again, if you want to reach out to me, you can do that by email, Twitter. If you want to purchase cards on TCG Player, please use my TCG Player link, as I will use that for quarterly giveaways. And again, if you are a new channel member or a channel member that currently exists and are not part of the Discord, let me know and I will send you the link to the Discord. But for now, as always, have fun, be happy, don't spend anything outside of your budget. Please don't do that. There's gonna be, I've been saying it for a while. I thought we were in a recession. I'm pretty sure with the way things are going out there, we're headed that direction if we're not already in it, depending on people's definitions of a recession. But as you can see, gas is going up, food is going up. Apparently, sriracha is like through the roof, which I discovered very recently. So make sure you take care of your bills. Make sure you get whatever you need to cover yourself. If you need to get extra food, get some extra food. If you want to pay bills, if you want to pay debt down, make sure you do that. But make sure, no matter what, again, don't spend anything outside your budget. Have a good one.